Why say a word when the void can say everything? They expected a reaction. They expected your anger, your pain, your need to be heard, but you gave them nothing, and that nothing became deafening. This is the forgotten Stoic truth. Silence is not weakness. Silence is power, because words defend your worth, but silence proves it. When you speak, they can argue. When you explain, they can twist it. But when you vanish into stillness, there's nothing they can fight, and nothing they can forget. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." That's what the void does. It stops proving. It stops justifying. It simply leaves and lets their mind collapse under its own weight. Dark psychology explains why this breaks them. The mind can dismiss your words, but it can't silence your absence. Your void becomes the canvas for their fear, regret, and longing, and the more they think about it, the louder it becomes. You don't need to convince them they lost something rare. You just need to disappear and let the void do the talking. If you're ready to stop explaining and start haunting, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. My silence speaks louder than words. Number 1. Words defend. Silence dominates. Every word you speak is a defense, a plea to be understood, a hope they'll finally see your worth. But when you defend, you kneel, and when you kneel, you lose power. Silence is different. Silence doesn't defend, it dominates. When you go quiet, you send a message stronger than any argument. I no longer need you to understand me. That realization hits harder than rage ever could, because words can be debated, twisted, or ignored, but silence cannot be touched. It stands above their noise, unmoved, untouchable. Epictetus said, "If you wish to be in control of your soul, avoid speaking much." The Stoics knew the power of restraint. When you withhold your words, you deny them the weapon they crave most, your reaction. And without your reaction, they have nothing to fight, nothing to twist, nothing to feed on. Dark psychology calls this dominance through ambiguity. When someone expects an emotional response and gets nothing, their brain spirals. They fear what they can't read, and your silence becomes the threat they can't disarm. Words try to prove strength. Silence proves it already exists. If you're ready to stop defending and start dominating, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I owe no explanations. Number 2. The void triggers fear. The moment you go silent, fear creeps in. Not yours, theirs. Because the void exposes what they tried to deny, that you are no longer under their control. While you were present, they felt powerful. Your reactions gave them feedback, your words gave them leverage, your emotions gave them security. But the instant you withdraw into silence, the entire structure collapses. They no longer know where they stand, and uncertainty is the mind's greatest fear. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Choosing silence is claiming that power. It says, I no longer need to be heard. I no longer need to be seen. I no longer need you. And that message is terrifying because it means they've lost their grip on you forever. Dark psychology calls this control collapse. Their ego relied on the illusion that you needed them. When the void replaces your presence, their mind fills it with panic, regret, and doubt. They wonder if you've changed, if you've moved on, if they ever mattered at all, and each question cuts deeper than words ever could. Silence doesn't just remove your presence, it replaces their pride with fear. If you're ready to stop reacting and start unnerving them, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. My silence makes them tremble. Number 3. The mind invents what it can't see. The mind cannot stand an empty space. When you vanish, it has to fill the void, and what it creates will torment them more than your presence ever could. While you were there, they could measure you. They knew your patterns, your tone, your moods, but silence gives them nothing. No data, no answers, no control. And when the mind can't explain something, it imagines the worst. They start asking, is he over me? Has he become stronger, happier, colder? Does he even think about me at all? Their brain builds fantasies to survive the uncertainty, and each one makes them miss you more. Epictetus said, "It's not things that disturb us, but our judgments about them." Your silence weaponizes this, because in the absence of truth, their judgment becomes their punishment. Dark psychology calls this the uncertainty spiral. The less information someone has, the more their mind obsesses, exaggerates, and fabricates stories. They stop seeing you as you were and start seeing you as something far more powerful, because mystery always grows in the dark. You don't need to convince them they lost you. Their imagination will do it for you. If you're ready to let their mind become your messenger, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. The unknown makes me powerful. Number 4. Stillness shifts the power. They thrived on your reactions. Every word you spoke, every emotion you showed, every effort you gave, fed their sense of control. But when you become still, the power shifts. Stillness is not absence, it's dominance. It's the quiet refusal to play their game. When you stop chasing, stop explaining, stop trying to be understood, you send one silent message: I no longer need you. And that breaks the foundation of their ego. Marcus Aurelius said, "Be like the rock against which the waves break." The rock does not argue with the sea, it does not move, it does not explain, it simply stands. That is what stillness does. It shows that their chaos no longer has the power to move you. Dark psychology calls this the reaction vacuum. When someone depends on your emotional responses and you give them nothing, their control collapses. They can't guide your behavior anymore because you've removed yourself from their influence entirely. Your silence becomes a wall, and behind that wall, you become untouchable. If you're ready to stop being their puppet and start becoming the rock, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. My stillness is my strength. Number 5. Absence creates scarcity. While you were always there, they felt no urgency to value you. Your presence was constant, so they assumed it was endless. But the moment you step back into the void, scarcity takes hold, and everything changes. Human nature worships what it fears losing. When you vanish, the same presence they dismissed becomes rare, and what becomes rare becomes priceless. The attention they once took for granted now feels like oxygen, and they're choking without it. Seneca said, "What is rarely seen is valued more." The Stoic man understands this. He does not flood the world with his energy. He withdraws it, controls it, and makes it earned. Because the moment you remove your presence, their mind begins to chase what their pride once ignored. Dark psychology calls this the scarcity principle. When something once abundant becomes unavailable, desire multiplies. They start romanticizing your memory, rewriting the past, exaggerating your worth, because scarcity magnifies value. You don't need to make them want you. You only need to remove yourself and let absence do the work. If you're ready to stop giving your value away for free, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. My absence makes me priceless. Number 6. The void forces reflection. As long as you were present, they could avoid responsibility. They could distract themselves with your reactions, your explanations, your emotions. But when you vanish into silence, there's nothing left to shield them from the truth, only the mirror. The void becomes their reckoning. It forces them to sit in the silence and face what they did without your voice softening the blow. There's no reassurance to dull their guilt, no closure to rewrite the ending, no distraction to numb the shame. Just the echo of their own actions, replaying endlessly in their mind. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Your silence is proof you've claimed that power. Their guilt is no longer your burden to carry or fix. You've stepped back, and now they must face the damage without your help." Dark psychology calls this forced self-confrontation. When someone loses access to you, their brain is left with only their behavior to analyze, and it corrodes them from the inside. Every unanswered question becomes a confession. Every memory becomes a blade. You don't need to teach them a lesson. The void will. If you're ready to let your absence become their mirror, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. The void shows them the truth. Number 7. While they spiral, you rise. While they're trapped in the silence you left, replaying the past and drowning in regret, you are using that same silence to build your future. This is what they never expected, that your disappearance wasn't surrender, it was strategy. They are stuck in the void. You are thriving in it. Every day they spend questioning your absence. You're sharpening your discipline, reclaiming your energy, and rebuilding your soul. What they thought was your downfall is becoming your rebirth. And the more you rise in silence, the smaller they become in their own memory. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." You're done wasting it. No more proving, no more pleading, no more explaining. While they spiral, you ascend, becoming the version of yourself they will never have access to again. Dark psychology calls this contrast trauma. Seeing the person they broke becoming stronger without them crushes their ego, because they realize they didn't just lose you, they lost the best version of you. While they decay in doubt, you are rising in silence. If you're ready to turn the void into your throne, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I rise in the silence. Number 8. Mystery makes you magnetic. When you were always visible, they stopped seeing you. Your patterns were predictable, your presence guaranteed, and predictability breeds boredom. But the moment you disappear into the void, you become a mystery. And mystery is magnetic. The mind craves what it can't define. When they can no longer read you, they begin to obsess. Where did he go? Has he changed? Is he happier now? Stronger now? Colder now? Their imagination builds a version of you far more powerful than reality. And the longer your silence lasts, the larger that version becomes. Marcus Aurelius said, "Be like the rock against which the waves break, still, silent, unmoving." The Stoic man doesn't explain. He vanishes and lets the unknown amplify his presence. Dark psychology calls this the uncertainty effect. When someone becomes unpredictable, the brain locks onto them, searching for patterns that no longer exist. That tension turns curiosity into obsession, and obsession into longing. You don't need to chase their attention. You only need to vanish and let mystery do the chasing. If you're ready to become unforgettable by becoming unknown, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. My mystery draws them in. Number 9. Detachment becomes your shield. Attachment made you vulnerable. It made their words cut deeper, their silence hit harder, their games feel like life or death. But detachment changes everything. Detachment makes you untouchable. When you detach, you stop trying to control outcomes. You stop needing their apology, their approval, or their return. and that shift builds an invisible shield around your soul. Their chaos can scream, but it can't reach you. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Detachment embodies this. They might think you've grown cold, but you've only grown free. Their opinion no longer dictates your direction. Their absence no longer defines your worth. Dark psychology calls this emotional decoupling. When someone no longer has emotional influence over you, their power dies instantly. They can't manipulate someone who feels nothing. They can't guilt someone who seeks nothing. Detachment is not weakness. It's armor forged from indifference. If you're ready to stop being their target and start becoming untouchable, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. Detachment is my shield. Number 10. The void speaks louder than you ever could. They wanted words. They wanted answers. They wanted your final emotion to prove they still mattered. But you gave them nothing, and that nothing became deafening. The void is the final message. It carries no anger, no explanation, no chance for them to twist your meaning. It is silence sharpened into truth, not revenge, resolution, not for them, for you. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." They wanted chaos. You gave stillness. They wanted closure. You gave emptiness. And that emptiness will echo longer than your words ever could. Dark psychology calls this the finality effect. The human mind breaks when it realizes something is truly over. Your silence becomes a permanent scar, a quiet verdict carved in stone. You are gone, and nothing will bring you back. Words fade. The void endures. If you're ready to let silence become your final word, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. The void says it all. In the end, you didn't need to argue. You didn't need to explain. You didn't need to win. You only needed the void. Because while they craved your reaction, you gave them nothing, and that nothing became everything. Think about what you've done here. You stopped defending and started dominating. You let the void trigger their fear. You let their own mind invent the monsters you didn't need to become. You stood still while they collapsed. You used your absence to create scarcity, your silence to force reflection. And while they spiraled, you rose. Your mystery became magnetic. Your detachment became your shield, and the void became your voice. This is the Stoic way. You don't waste words proving your worth. You disappear and let the void say what your lips never will, because while they chase closure, you become the silence they can't escape. If you're ready to stop speaking and start haunting, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. The void speaks for me. Thanks for watching, Stoic Soldier.